Happy Friday, you legends of the altcoin buzz army, TGIF. It's another great day in this altcoin bull market. I'm saying it officially at least, because take a look at some of these numbers. First of all, we have a market cap that is in excess right now of $1.18 trillion. That's obscene in a good way. I'm very happy to see it, as I'm sure many of you are. We have multiple projects that we've been tracking really for years now that we're of course excited to talk further about. Ethereum is the big news of the day. It did hit a little bit of a retracement yesterday, but as high as about $1,760 now, kind of consolidating just above $1,700 at the time of this recording. A lot of mainstream press attention as well. We'll be getting to more Ethereum news in just a second, but we also want to celebrate the ADA fans out there. Cardano up 22.8% in these last 24 hours. And then taking a look at some of the big winners in the top 50 or so, we have Binance coin, first of all, up 12.7%. It's now above $60, $62.99. That's impressive. Cosmos, of course, had a big day yesterday. We talked about Cosmos news. Check out yesterday's video if you're not up to speed. Cosmos up 30% in these last 24 hours. Maker up 38%. Generally speaking, a lot of the DeFi projects are just soaring right now. They're doing very, very, very well. And of course, it comes as no surprise that we're seeing more and more people enter into this space. Professionals, hedge funds, retail consumers, everyday people, high net worth individuals. As per Yahoo Money here, new crypto venture capital funds attract Wall Street billionaires and even LL Cool J. So in another sign that crypto is obviously now a mainstream investment, private equity veteran Glenn Hutchins, along with his son James Hutchins and partner Travis Scher, have launched a new venture capital crypto fund with a marquee list of investors, including hedge fund billionaire Paul Tudor Jones, Raj and Indra Nooyi, the latter being the former CEO of PepsiCo, and James Todd Smith, otherwise known as LL Cool J. All right, so, I mean, look, this is only just the beginning. It comes as no surprise, and this is only the latest bit of news in a whole deluge of news that's going to keep hitting us. Eventually, everybody's going to be entering into this space. So yeah, it comes as no surprise that billionaires and celebrities and rappers and actors and whatnot are jumping on board. It doesn't surprise me in the least. Going back to Ethereum, I want to celebrate the fact that it's being covered here very favorably across the mainstream. Now, look, I still contend that CNBC is fake news. I don't really take what they say seriously, whether it's positive or negative. So I'm highlighting this not because I'm a hypocrite, but because a lot of people do follow CNBC, and at the very least, they're talking about Ethereum. They've been talking a lot about Bitcoin, of course, these last few months and arguably years, but now we're seeing Ethereum take up a lot of the spotlight. As per this headline here, Ether, the world's second largest cryptocurrency, hits a record high above $1,700. Not only do you have institutional players getting their feet wet with Ethereum for the first time, they're increasing their allotment, their portfolio slice of the pie toward Ethereum, but you're also seeing retail investors with a growing appetite here for Ethereum because, like it or not, $1,700 is still manageable. And so people can look at $1,700 as a price tag, and that's more realistic to own in terms of one full Ether versus one full Bitcoin, which would be about $37,000 or $38,000 right now at the time of this recording. Plus, not to mention all of the benefits associated with DeFi and whatnot, and this expanding ecosystem of platforms. So really, seemingly everywhere we look these days, we're seeing more and more momentum, not the least of which is coming from Jack Dorsey here, who tweeted just a few hours ago, running hashtag Bitcoin here. And if you dive a little bit deeper into this story, as per Cointelegraph.com, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey has fired up a full Bitcoin node. The Twitter chief will soon be helping to validate the Bitcoin blockchain after posting a picture of his node synchronization in progress, which is what we just saw. You know, there have been a lot of comments lately because we did feature Jack Dorsey's quote when it came to kind of anti-censorship and whatnot in that Forbes top 50 blockchain personalities. And a few people commented about how, it's so hypocritical for Jack Dorsey to be talking about the distribution of authority so that no one individual, no one entity really has control, and the importance of decentralization in terms of free speech and anti-censorship. A lot of you guys, and I agree with you, rightly called out Jack Dorsey because he's extremely censorious. Twitter has just been on an absolute purge lately, just blocking everybody of left, right persuasions, you name it, everybody that they disagree with. So I too think that's super hypocritical, and I totally disrespect Jack Dorsey at that level. But I'm treating that as separate because at the level of championing Bitcoin, we do agree. And when it comes to somebody in the public space, you don't have to agree with them on 100% of their stances. In fact, you'll likely disagree with much of their politics or their strategies or the way they do business, and that's fine. Jack and I disagree on a lot of things, but at the level of Bitcoin as an evangelist for cryptocurrency and decentralization, I can agree with him at that level. So this is the tweet as we just saw, running Bitcoin. You can, referring to that Bitcoin node, of course, you can go back and check it out. But there it is, more and more people getting into this space, very likely being red-pilled by Jack Dorsey, if you will. He's a gateway drug for a lot of people. Anthony Pompliano here calling out, I guess, more hypocrisy, arguably. So let me get this straight. Goldman Sachs is putting out research that they don't believe in Bitcoin, but they're also signed up to be the lead investment banker on the Coinbase Direct listing. Sounds like they're confused or have ulterior motives. I don't think they're confused. I think it's all intentional. They're sending mixed signals out to the market. They're getting themselves ready. They're positioning themselves while it's still convenient, putting out FUD very strategically to make sure that you're kind of uncertain, you don't quite know what to do until they're ready to pull the trigger. And then they just want to hoard as much of it as possible. Pomp also talking at the institutional level about Grayscale, who is celebrating a major new milestone. Grayscale just reported $30 billion in total AUM. That's assets under management for the first time ever. Grayscale with this update from, I guess, the 4th of February. So this is yesterday. We should be getting a new update shortly, maybe even by the time you're watching this video. Net assets under management, holdings per share, and market price per share for our investment products. Total AUM now $30.1 billion. They also bought in excess of $70 million worth of Ethereum just yesterday, which is super impressive. You can see that they're diversifying some of their offerings into Ether and other altcoins, but 30 billion AUM. Unbelievable. These guys are going to take over the world one day in a good way. Mark my words, believe me. We have more news here at kind of the macro level documenting Bitcoin, talking about how the Ukrainian government is now considering a Bitcoin mining center to use the country's excess nuclear power, putting that excess capacity, that excess energy to good use. They'd be joining Pakistan and likely many other countries that haven't publicly announced it, but you better believe that many, many, many countries are diverting their excess energy to Bitcoin mining. Hey, if it's going to be the world reserve currency one day, people have to, start getting ready, start making preparations behind the scenes. Wall Street Bets chairman commenting, that is dope. I think it's safe to say that we have the support of the Wall Street Bets individuals at this point. Speaking of macro trends and institutional adoption, we have this news here from firstblockchainbank.com, banking for the digital asset era. First Blockchain Bank and Trust, if you haven't heard of it, it's a wholly owned subsidiary of Metallicus Incorporated, and they've submitted an application to the U.S. of the Comptroller of the Currency, or the OCC, for a full national bank charter. So if granted, this means that First Blockchain Bank and Trust will become a nationally regulated custodian of blockchain assets, as well as offering traditional FDIC-insured deposit accounts. And MetalPay here is on board at MetalPaysMe. We're thrilled to announce that we've applied for a full national bank charter from the OCC, a monumental step for the entire cryptocurrency industry. This marks a turning point for how Americans will view cryptocurrency. We'll explain why in this thread. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but just to kind of tease the rest of the message here, making a nationally chartered bank will allow us to operate in all 50 states, talking, of course, about the U.S., and our customers will receive FDIC-insured checking accounts capable of cash deposits, full support of crypto transactions, fiduciary services for digital assets, and connection of TradFi, traditional finance, and DeFi, decentralized finance. You guys may have had the same observation as me. It's not an original observation, by the way. Many, probably millions of people have had it. But the crypto exchanges are becoming banks. The banks are becoming crypto exchanges. You are still early if you're in this space. Even if this is day one, you're watching a video here for the first time, you're just learning about cryptocurrency and decentralization and blockchain and altcoins for the very first time. You are still early. The direction that we're heading in right now cannot be refuted. It cannot be ignored. It's clear. The writing is on the wall, and you're going to see many, 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 many more organizations make these kinds of arrangements with the OCC, the Office of the Currency Comptroller. Is it Currency Comptroller or Comptroller of Currency? Whatever. You're going to see many, many other companies make these arrangements, go through the regulatory processes with the OCC, and they're going to get these same privileges because this is what clients are requesting. This is where the demand lies. Mark my words. Theta has also been tearing it up recently. We have this news out of Theta Network. Theta Swap version 1 launches as the first decentralized exchange, DEX, for Theta blockchain. More info about that here on medium.com. Theta Swap V1 launches as the first decentralized exchange for Theta blockchain. And no doubt this has fueled some of the price movement recently, which has been very, very favorable. Theta on the verge of new all-time highs. We have this news as well out of Mantra DAO. We are incredibly excited to announce that Mantra DAO is joining the world of PokePets with our own unique PokePet NFT non-fungible token, which will represent our company's ethos and personality. Date and time details of our Poke sale open. You can read more about that on mantradao.medium.com. They've joined the world of PokePets. This may kind of be the next iteration, if you will, of Crypto Kitties. Probably a little bit more evolved, or at least hopefully so. But Mantra DAO are happy to be joining the world of PokePets, along with Bondly, Darwinia Network, and Moonbeam. We're going to get to Bondly in just a sec. Of course, they had major news yesterday with that Logan Paul collaboration, or partnership, I should say. But Fuse is another project that's been on fire lately. At Fuse_network, this from yesterday, Dapp.com officially announces integration of Fuse Network, providing users of the leading discovery platform with key data on users, transactions, volume, and more. Tracked dApps include Fuse Studio, Fuse Swap, and Good Dollar Or. You can read more on Dapp.com. Here's the write-up from that website. Dapp.com integrates tracking of Fuse Network. Okay, and as I mentioned, Bondly is in the news once again. Their first core product, BondSwap, is here. BondSwap, also known as BSwap, is aiming to simplify the escrow process for digital or physical goods, all powered by DeFi. And with this launch, they believe they'll be filling a massive gap when it comes to providing on-chain OTC or over-the-counter swap solutions. You can start using BondSwap today on Ethereum as well as on Binance chain. Links are there, and you can read more about how it all works and how to go through it from kind of a tutorial perspective here on this page, this bondlyfinance.medium.com write-up. We'll link to that below. They're also announcing it here. As 2021 rolls on, we are excited to announce the launch of one of our core products, BondSwap, which once again aims to simplify the escrow process for digital and physical goods, all powered by DeFi. Okay, a couple more rapid fire updates here before we wrap things up. IoTeX at IoTeX_IO. They've been appointed to the executive committee of the China Mobile IoT Alliance. Over the past year, IoTeX worked with Alliance members on new blockchain-based facial recognition plus supply chain finance solutions, which we are unveiling today. More info about that here on IoTeX.medium.com. DeppRadar is also in the news. They've partnered with MyEtherWallet, putting dApps in the hands of millions of users. Therefore, the dissemination of this space, the popularization of this sector continues to increase to the tunes, again, of millions of users. DeppRadar here on Twitter. Exciting news. DeppRadar partners with MyEtherWallet, putting dApps in the hands of millions of new users. Users of the popular MyEtherWallet, or MEW, will now be able to access DeppRadar's Ethereum dApp rankings within the MEW Wallet app. You can read more on DeppRadar.com. And finally, just to leave things off on a positive note here, we know that the whole corporate Bitcoin conference happening over at MicroStrategy is now wrapping up for the week. Just wanted to check in briefly on the price of the stock. As you can see, up another 4.3% today, just under $800. I think it touched $800 earlier in the day. It looks flat when you look at the one-day chart, but the more you zoom out, the more parabolic, obviously, this trend is going. Michael Saylor leading the charge here at MicroStrategy. Just unbelievable performance, meteoric, record-breaking numbers, seemingly with every new day that passes. Stay tuned, because I'm sure once the weekend rolls by, I'm sure once some of these executives that participated in the Bitcoin conference get back to work, get back into their regular routine, they're going to be starting to implement some of what they learned, and you're going to be hearing more and more. You're going to be hearing some very high-profile announcements in the very near future. That is my bet, but we'll have to stay tuned to know for sure. That is it for today, everybody. Do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels. Keep checking back into altcoinbuzz.io for all the latest. Like, subscribe, share, and hit that bell to receive notifications. If you enjoyed today's video, best of luck, of course, if you choose to invest on this Friday. TGIF members of the Altcoin Buzz Army, stay safe out there. And as always, and of course, we do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.